So, my ever-so-helpful ship's computer has informed me that our cringe levels are dropping at an alarming rate. No idea how they got that low so quick. It's a mystery.
It's because you delayed the next video for several months, causing our reserves to be used up.
A complete and total mystery. So, as a temporary solution to this mess that I had nothing to do with whatsoever, I'd like to introduce you to Wasted Character Corner, the series where we look at characters from our favorite shows that were criminally underutilized and think of a way they could have been integrated into the story more. Seeing as my very first serious writing video on this channel was about HAZBIN Hotel, watch that one by the way, it's awesome, it's only fitting that our first characters to elevate would be two often overlooked members of its cast. Razzle and Dazzle have been part of the main cast since the pilot days, and yet I'm betting the majority of fans' reaction to being told about them would be a resounding
Who?
Yes, sadly, Razzle and Dazzle suffer from what I like to call the creator is counting on you to read fandom wikis for information syndrome. They're two little goat demons created by Lucifer to serve as Charlie's bodyguards. You often see them in the background doing various little things to assist Charlie, with their most prominent appearances being in Hello Rosie, in which they actually act on their role as bodyguards for the first time and get ready to tear Alice to shreds for making Charlie uncomfortable, and in The Show Must Go On, where they get an awesome dragon transformation only for one of them to get killed off the very next scene, and the other to just vanish into the ether for the rest of the battle. Yeah, not much there to get attached to. And that's honestly a shame. Razzle and Dazzle have canonically been with Charlie since childhood. Seeing how the rest of Hell treats her, they were probably her only friends for a long time until Vaggie came along. Not to mention their role as her personal protectors, which is barely elaborated upon. I think it's telling how little they actually matter that one of them dies in the finale, and I honestly couldn't tell you which one without looking it up. Charlie cares so little about them that she doesn't even mourn the one who was slain in season 2, despite having known him for far longer than she did Pensius, who she is a crying mess over. Like, damn girl, these are your oldest friends and supporters, and you don't even mention the one who got shish kebab to defend your dream? I think Razzle and Dazzle were a huge missed opportunity to expand on Charlie's character and life before she started the hotel, or met Vaggie and the rest of the has-beens, as well as a subtle reminder that while Charlie is relatively down to earth, she still grew up in a position of power most of her friends didn't. Giving them more character and a stronger relationship to Charlie would make the death of one of them feel more like we just lost a friend, rather than Vivzie being too scared to kill off an actual member of the main cast. So how about this? Episode 1 still starts out with a montage of Charlie retelling the events that took place in Eden and Hell's origins, but then we pan not to her moping over a storybook, but on the balcony of the hotel, creating the fireworks that signal to the rest of the Pride Ring that the extermination has ended and it's safe to come out now. Razzle and Dazzle can be seen watching over her from the balcony entrance, visibly worried for her. Once her duty is fulfilled, Charlie walks back inside, giving both Razzle and Dazzle a sad smile and a pat on the head. She greets them by name and remarks something like, "Good thing that's over, right?" Here's where Vaggie comes in, revealing that she's been there the whole time and overhear Charlie narrating to herself. Their conversation plays out like it does in canon, only now Razzle, Dazzle, and Kiki are here too. When Charlie goes to meet with Adam, Razzle and Dazzle accompany her. You know, like bodyguards are supposed to do. They also take Charlie's limo from the pilot to get to the Heaven Embassy instead of letting the Princess of Hell walk through the streets unprotected right after Heaven staged their latest sanctioned mass murder. When they arrive at the embassy, there's actually a heavenly secretary seated at the front desk. When Charlie introduces herself, the secretary bluntly informs her that pets aren't allowed in the embassy. Razzle and Dazzle visibly take offense to this, with Razzle looking like he's about to burst into tears and Dazzle glaring and growling at the angel. Charlie tries to correct him, saying that Razzle and Dazzle aren't exactly pets. It's a funny story, really. When she was little, her dad was always worried, so he took 2 goat plushies and... At which point the angel interrupts her, saying he doesn't care, and repeats the no pets rule. Charlie isn't really happy about her friends being treated this way, but she still needs this meeting, so she reluctantly tells Razzle and Dazzle to wait outside, assuring them with a smile that it'll be alright. Razzle and Dazzle hesitate, but in the end relent and go back out. Over the course of the season, they'd be a steady background presence, always in Charlie's corner and silently reacting to what's going on around them. In episode 4, they accompany her to Valentino's studio, and when he starts harassing Charlie, the two look about ready to eat him alive, and only don't because Charlie does manage the situation herself. In episode 6, we get a scene in which Charlie tells them to watch the hotel for her since Heaven was only willing to allow one additional person to accompany Charlie to the hearing. Razzle and Dazzle are obviously unhappy about being left behind again. Vaggie attempts to use that as an excuse for why she can't come with, to which Razzle and Dazzle exchange a look of skepticism and confusion. In the final battle in episode 8, we'd get glimpses of them helping with the preparations and holding down the fort, assuring that no exorcists can get inside the hotel where Kiki, Fat Nuggets, and some of the Egg Boys are huddled together for safety. Charlie summoning them and Dazzle dying in battle goes almost like in the original episode, but closer to the very cool rewrite I made. Link in the thing in your right top side. When Dazzle and Vaggie get downed by loot, Charlie shows concern for both of them, calling Dazzle's name alongside Vaggie's, showing that these are both people who are very important to her, as opposed to her seemingly only caring for her girlfriend and not her loyal childhood friend and protector whose loyalty to her just got him stabbed. In the aftermath, when Charlie walks to the ruins of the hotel, she actually comes across an injured Razzle mourning over his brother's dead body, with Charlie kneeling down next to Dazzle and quietly thanking him and assuring him he did his best. This gives more meaning to Dazzle being honored alongside Penches at the end of the Happy Day in Hell sequence, since we have now actually treated his death as a tragedy and the loss of a good friend, instead of a footnote that doesn't even get mentioned after the fact. Dazzle's death would be shown to affect Charlie just as much as Penchius's in Season 2, with her trying and failing to cope with both of them being gone in Episode 1, and Razzle sticking even closer to her side the entire season, scared to lose yet another member of the only family he's ever known. Razzle would also play a bigger role in the Season 2 finale, assuming his dragon form to protect and assist Charlie and Emily. He gets into a scrap with Shockwave when the latter targets Emily, and afterwards uses his strength and flight to help Charlie and Emily rescue and evacuate sinners who have been caught in a crossfire. When Charlie channels her energy into the shield around the Might of Lilith, Razzle is there to give encouragement alongside Vaggie. Both of them don't have the power needed for this, but they will at least make sure Charlie knows they have her back no matter what. He's also included in Charlie's "The power of friendship is strong within us" celebration hug, now shrunk back to his regular smaller form and a bit singed, but alive. Razzle and Dazzle are part of a long list of good ideas that Vivzie never really bothered to get into or use in a way that makes sense. Two beings who served as the bodyguards and only companions of the Princess of Hell for centuries should not be as undercooked and superfluous as Razzle and Dazzle are in canon. Charlie's background and upbringing are a huge part of what makes her the person we see in the show's present. Having been cared for by these two Hellborn for most of her life, who would stick with her even when the rest of Hell, up to and including her own father, would only ever look down on and ridicule her for ideas, Charlie really shouldn't be as blasé as she is about one of them being brutally murdered, or treat them as though they were just part of the hotel's furniture the rest of the time. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Charlie's writing keeps making her look like an unempathetic jerk who could care less about those close to her. This is the same woman who saw her father crawl out of a hole in the ground, visibly bleeding and on the brink of collapse, and didn't bother to check up on him or even just ask him what happened and if he was okay. See you in the next video, Space Nerds.